Okay, so actually I'm doing this fucking like React thingy. I actually like it a lot. It's actually fun. I didn't it's actually quite more successful. Wow, it's a nice game. And do I just like wow, so right. I just do that, right? And it just connects, right? And then I can do this. Well, yeah, so I do the report duty, like React duty, like kind of like more, because yeah, compared to WoW, if I do enough React duty, I might find more like guildies. I actually like found someone, like one of my guildmates from YouTube. Can you believe that? Well, it actually happened. So believe it or not, like I don't give a fuck. So yeah, I just have to react to WoW videos and stuff, and I actually stuff that I do on my free time anyway. So yeah. Anyway, let's check if this magic actually worked. No, it didn't. So browser. Here you go. Thank you, Twitchkin, Grina, Perons, for the follow. Um, okay. So first off, I wanted to watch actually some fucking creepy pasta. So a creepy pasta, if you don't know it, it's a horrifying story. This one is actually true. This one is actually true. So hallelujah, brother. This one is actually true. Russian sleep experiment. It is that bad. Let's react to that. I'm doing well. How about you? Where is it? Where the fuck? I can find it. It's not listed or like, bro. Okay, this one actually is a freaky one about medicine that I was thinking about. Stream is going well. YouTube going better. Like my YouTube is kind of popping. Okay. Let's go and watch the Russian sleep experiment. So this was an actual experiment about sleeping, and that the Russian army actually performed. They actually started seeing ghosts and shit. Like this stuff is actually like fucking like so basically, the story goes like this, right? They put like enemies of the state in a confined room, basically like psychiatric yard, fucking padded cell. But a padded cell, you know, like the pads, you know, like cushions. You know, like it's basically like cushion rooms, right? But they actually put like five dudes, three or five dudes, like in this, and then they fucking like overstimulated them. Like basically they use drugs, like basically like hardcore cocaine, to actually like see what happens when you actually live without sleep. And stuff started to fucking freak the fuck out. Like there were actually ghosts, like ghosts or stuff. You'll see in the footage. I actually saw it before, but like it's just funny to react to it, because like you can see that like it made a stimulants, but like creepypastas are usually fake, but you can know that like the Russian sleep experiment is actually a verified like military story, and it's a verified story also because fuck you, the pictures, no one, like basically you see this picture, this is like a fucking like scary picture that like someone took, and it's not complicated to do. The Russian sleep experiment pictures, you will see that it's actually fucking difficult to fucking like. People back then, no one will fucking use like $300 of fucking equipment, or like just for a fucking like a scary story on the internet. So it's actually legitimate. You can verify both, because like both, like it was verified by other like media sources that it was actually real. But so this is like the creepypasta that is actually like real, the real nightmare and the real paranormal, because like something messed up happened. So let's check it out. I actually love the story a lot. I don't know why. I hated it back in the day. Because it made me lose some sleep, and now I actually like it. Like it's kind of like in between the military horror stories that I like, like, so yeah, let's check it out.
In the late 1940s, a group of Russian researchers discovered an experimental gas-based stimulant which could eradicate the need for sleep in humans. 5 test subjects were chosen to test the gas, all deemed enemies of the state. They were kept in a sealed environment to carefully monitor their oxygen intake, as the gas was toxic in high concentrations. This was before closed-circuit cameras, so their only means of monitoring the subjects were microphones and a few thick glass portholes into the chamber. The chamber was stocked with books, cots to sleep on, running water, a toilet, and enough dried food to last all 5 for over a month. Everything was 5 for the first 5 days.
So basically, so we're like, rather than padded cell, like we're like kind of like imprisoned in a bunker, basically.
The subjects hardly complained, having been promised, falsely, that they would be freed if they did not sleep for 30 days. Their conversations and activities were monitored closely, and it was noted that they continued to talk about increasingly traumatic incidents in their past life, and the general tone of their conversations took on a darker aspect after the 4-day mark. After 5 days, they started to complain about the circumstances and events that led them to where they were, and started to demonstrate signs of paranoia. They stopped talking to one another, and began alternately whispering to the microphones and portholes. Oddly, they seemed to think they could win the trust of their researchers by turning over their fellow comrades. At first, the researchers suspected that this was an effect of the gas itself. After 9 days, the first of them started screaming. He ran the length of the chamber, repeatedly yelling at the top of his lungs for 3 hours straight. After he tore his vocal cords, he still continued attempting to scream, but was only able to produce occasional squeaks. The most surprising thing about this behavior is how the other captives reacted to it, or didn't react to it. They continued whispering into the microphones until the second of the captives started to scream. The 3 non-screaming captives took books apart, smearing page after page with their own feces and pasted them over the glass portholes. The screaming promptly stopped, and so did the whispering in the microphones.
Yeah, so right away, isolated, fucked up. Like technically, within psychiatry and psychology, and basically within the studies of psychology and psychiatry, isolation in long periods can actually create like do brain damage. Just so you know, like to add insult to injury. So even if you're like with people that were seen as enemies of the state, and like Russia said, don't laugh with the enemies of the state, bro. Like it's not like back in the day. Back in the day, it was like gulag, bro. Like if you were enemy of the state. So, so yeah, they actually got unlucky. The gulag would have been better for them rather than this fucking nightmare.
After 3 more days passed, the researchers checked the microphones hourly to make sure they weren't working, as they thought it impossible that no sound could be coming from the chamber. The oxygen consumption in the chamber indicated that all 5 must still be alive. In fact, it was the amount of oxygen 5 people would consume at a very heavy level of strenuous exercise. On the morning of the 14th day, the researchers did something they said they would not do. They used the intercom inside the chamber, hoping to provoke a response from the captives. They announced,
So basically, for 14 days, they only heard screamings and screaming, and then when it went silent, right? And then after 14 days, they were like, because they knew they were still alive though. They fucking like decided the government to fucking check out what's going on.
We are opening the chamber to test the microphones. Step away from the door and lie flat on the floor, or you will be shot. Compliance will earn one of you your immediate freedom. To their surprise, they heard one single phrase in a calm voice respond, "We no longer wish to be freed." Debate broke out among the researchers and the government officials funding the experiment. Unable to provoke any other response using the intercom, it was finally decided to open the chamber at midnight on the 15th day. That night, the chamber was flushed of the gas and filled with fresh air. Immediately, voices from the microphones began to object. 3 different subjects began begging, as if pleading for the life of loved ones, to turn the gas back on. The chamber was opened and soldiers sent in to retrieve the test subjects. They began to scream louder than ever, and so did the soldiers when they saw what was inside the chamber. 4 of the 5 subjects were still alive, although no one can rightly call the state that any of them were in living. The food rations for the past 5 days had not been so much as touched. There were chunks of rotting flesh from the dead subject's thighs and chest stuffed into the drain in the center of the chamber, which allowed 4 inches of red liquid to accumulate on the floor. Precisely how much of the liquid that was actually blood was never determined. All 4 surviving test subjects also had large portions of muscle and skin torn away from their bodies. The exposed bone on their fingertips indicated that the wounds were inflicted by hand, not with teeth as the researchers initially thought. Closer examination of the position and angles of the wounds indicated that all of them were self-inflicted. The organs below the rib cages of all 4 test subjects had been removed, while the heart, lungs, and diaphragm remained in place.
Fun stuff, huh? I would go for a weekend like this. Like my ex was this monstrous. Like what he describes is like basically a weekend with my ex. Like she was a monster girl, kind of the type too beautiful for you. Like what he described is basically like my average weekend with my ex. We'll never be together again. It's a good thing. We were not meant for each other anyway. But goddamn, she was scary. Goddamn.
The skin and muscles attached to the ribs had been ripped off, exposing the lungs through the rib cage.
It's almost describing my state of mind after she left on the Sunday. Like I don't even know. On Monday, I mean Monday, Sunday, it depends. We stay together. Oh my.
All the removed blood vessels and organs remained intact. They had just been taken out and laid on the floor, fanning out around the bodies of the subjects. The digestive tract of all...
Okay, I'll rewatch the pictures just to see if we were like looking the same also, because like I'm actually like curious. Maybe this it was just like knowing a girl like kind of with the same kind of like attitude as my ex. Maybe. You know, like I'll take the pictures. I'll tell you.
4 could be seen working, digesting what was apparently their own flesh, which they had been eating for many days. Most of the soldiers were Russian operatives, but still, many refused to return to that chamber in order to remove the test subjects. The subjects continued to scream to be left alone in the chamber and alternately begged and demanded that the gas be turned back on, lest they fall asleep.
So this is like the curious part, where it's like they actually like got pitied by the state, and they actually as a reminder, this is a true story. This is a true experimentation, human experimentation story. It is not like your average creepy pasta. It is real and verified. You can check whatever wherever the fuck you want. Like basically, it's verified that this everything that he says is true, basically. But isn't that curious that like they fucking went from please anything but the fucking like gulag or fucking imprisonment to fucking we want the drug, because like the stimulants can be like refreshing. It's narcotic, right? It's a drug, but at the same time, bro, they did cannibalism, bro. Like at the same time, cannibalism with greater cocaine. I'm not sure about that, you know. So really, kind of like really like I don't know. Interesting case, you know?
To everyone's surprise, the test subjects put up a fierce fight in the process of being removed from the chamber. One of the Russian soldiers died from having his throat ripped out. Another, gravely injured by having his testicles ripped off and an artery in his leg severed by one of the subject's teeth. 5 more soldiers lost their lives, if you count ones that committed suicide. In the struggle, one of the 4 living subjects had his spleen ruptured and was bleeding out quickly. The medical staff attempted to sedate him, but this proved impossible. He was injected with more than 10 times the normal human dose of morphine and still fought like a cornered animal.
Morphine is a sedative, so it is something that actually like fucking is used for anesthesia. So the dude was really like feral, you
Breaking
know.
the arm of one doctor. His heart continued beating for a full 2 minutes after he ran out of blood. Even after his heart stopped, he continued to scream and flail for another 3 minutes, struggling to attack anyone in reach and just repeating the word, more, more, over and over, weaker and weaker, until he finally fell silent. The surviving 3 test subjects were heavily restrained and moved to the medical facility, the 2 with intact vocal cords continuously begging for the gas, demanding to be kept awake. The most injured of the 3 was taken to the only surgical
Maybe they were doing like it gave them like fucked up nightmares. That's also like a conclusion that like could be possible. Like they wanted to stay actually like awake because the nightmares became like too real. Group paranoia is something that is possible within like closed environments, closed social environments. So maybe they were like doing nightmares that were so fucking heavy and hardcore, like basically like they actually were like avoiding sleep at all costs.
operating room that the facility had. In the process of preparing the subject to have his organs placed back in his body, it was found that he was effectively immune to the sedative they had given him. He fought furiously against his restraints when the anesthetic gas was brought out to put him to sleep. He managed to tear most of the way through a 4-inch wide leather strap on his wrist. It took little more anesthetic than normal to put him under, and the instant his eyelids fluttered and closed, his heart stopped. In the autopsy of the test subject, it was found that his blood had triple the normal level of oxygen found in a human body. The muscles that were still attached to his skeleton were badly torn, and he had broken 9 bones in his struggle to not be subdued. The second survivor had been the first of the group to start screaming. His vocal cords destroyed, he was unable to beg or object to surgery, and he only reacted by shaking his head very violently in disapproval when the anesthetic gas was brought out.
Maybe the dude was really into metal and like had like a really like Alice in Chain or like fucking Metallica fucking song stuck in his head. That's why. It's too far fetched. I pretty sure that like the dude was like that this dude, unlike the other people, was really into heavy metal. Like heavy metal back then was kind of the fucking thing, you know.
He shook his head yes when a nurse suggested that they try the surgery without anesthetic. He did not react for the entire 6-hour procedure of replacing his abdominal organs and attempting to cover them with what little remained of his skin. The surgeon stated repeatedly that it should be medically impossible for the subject to still be alive. One terrified nurse stated,
Yeah, but like listening to Alice in Chain, Metallica, you don't know, you never know, bro. You fucking like all of you Osborne, bro. You sure? Like heavy metal is heavy metal, you know.
that she had seen the patient's mouth curl into a smile several times whenever his eyes met hers. When the surgery ended, the subject looked at the surgeon and began to wheeze loudly, attempting to talk. Assuming this must be something of importance, the surgeon had a pen and pad fetched so he could write out his message. It was simple. Keep cutting. The other 2 test subjects were given the same surgery, both without anesthetic. The The surgeon found it almost impossible to perform the operation while the patients laughed continuously. Once paralyzed, the subjects could only follow the attending researchers with their eyes. The paralytic cleared their system in an abnormally short period of time, and they were soon trying to escape their bonds. The moment they could speak, they were asking for the gas. The researchers tried asking why. Why had they injured themselves? Why?
Basically, that's me with my ex. Like, I was like basically same state, and each time I was like, but let's go for another fucking date. Let's see each other again. Like, I was really out of my mind. I could have ended up like them. Well, basically, I still need to see the picture to kind of like see if I should like the same fucking like injuries. My ex, like like a beautiful death type of girl. Like yeah, that this type. Too good for you, too good for me, too good for anyone I know, bro.
Why'd they ripped out their own organs? Why did they want the gas? Only one response was given.
But scary as fuck.
I must remain awake. All three subjects' restraints were reinforced, and they were placed back into the chamber awaiting determination as to what should be done with them. The researchers, facing the wrath of their military benefactors for having failed the stated goals of their project, considered euthanizing the surviving subjects. The commanding officer, an ex-KGB, instead saw potential and wanted to see what would happen if they were put back on the gas. The researchers strongly objected, but were overruled.
Typical KGBs, they want to fucking see like KGB was actually so far like you have no idea. Oh, like when it comes to FBI, I don't know, but technically like they were still legislated and they were like on the rulings that were like kind of hardcore. KGB, bro, it was so basically KGB back in the day was something that was highly localized. So what does it mean? It means the state, once you have like the fucking KGB fucking badge, bro, like in your region, you're kinda the fucking, you cannot do whatever the fuck you want, bro. So you want to send someone to the gulag, so basically like concentration camps of during the Soviet Union. You can, like locally, like anyone, bro. Men, women, children, bro. They were not like joking about it and basically like overruling scientists. You can. KGB was like nothing to fucking laugh about back in the day. Like now it's FSB. FSB is more legislated and they have to fucking like watch themselves because fucking like fucking cameras exist, bro. Well, like back in the day, bro, it's not. It was like nuts. KGB, bro, you fucking shut. It's basically like it was basically North Korea level. Like people tend to fucking forget that it was like a totalitarian regime, bro, like fucked up totalitarian, but still within the law because like basically like the thing is that if you were like not a fucking enemy of the state and basically not a jerk, you were not like fucking bullied or stuff like that, but you had to be fucking a patriot, like not a dick sucker, not a bootlicker, but still fucking like but it's just like bro, it's like show up to your fucking like to your fucking business or work, the KGB back in the day. You do as they say, or fucking Russian concentration camp, bro. And gulags, bro. No one came back, bro. Like it was middle of fucking like the tundra. What was it called? Siberia. It was in Siberia. It's like, bro, like it's like a goodbye, and they could do it with family, entire families, and enemies of the state. It was like nothing to joke about, bro. You're enemy of the state. You're basically dead, bro. Like the question is, will you fucking take? Will your family pay as well for what you did? And that's where like actually like compared to Nazi Germany or North Korea, it was actually like more relaxed. Where like enemies of the state were like picked out, and it was not like fucking like public, because North Korea to this day they do public executions, public hanging, public shootings of families to remind you that like they're not fucking around. Nazi Germany, yeah, they were like comparable. People tend to fucking like be like, "Hey, Russians, they're funny people. They do vodka and shit." Yeah, bro. Like now they're kind of cringe because well, kind of cringe. They kind of like no one goes for war in a ultra democratical like mondialized like worldwide connected system, right? So the war in Ukraine, well, everyone fucking hates it, you know. But back in the day, like before basically they lost their reputation and they were like giants, right? Especially because like now it's Russia. Back in the day, it was like the yeah the fucking CCCP. How is it called? Um, the Soviet Union, right? KGB, bro, you didn't laugh about it, and so the decisions that they made, I say fucking like they had the power to fucking tell like a bunch of scientists, bro, like I don't care, fucking put them back on gas. That's just kind of like put you in perspective of like how like serious this case is, you know?
In preparation for being sealed in the chamber again, the subjects were connected to an EEG monitor and had their restraints patted.
EG is it's like hearts like heart or breathing monitor. Like I don't remember, but like this like basically EG monitor is something like if you're dead, that people like a doctor can know right away.
Added for a long-term confinement. To everyone's surprise, all three stopped struggling the moment they were back on the gas. It was obvious that, at this point, all three were putting up a great struggle to stay awake. One of the subjects that could speak was humming loudly and continuously. The mute was straining his legs against the leather bonds with all his might, first left, then right, then left again, just to have something to focus on. The remaining subject was holding his head off his pillow and blinking rapidly. Having been the first to be wired for EEG, most of the researchers were monitoring his brainwaves in surprise. They were normal, but most of the time,
So check this out. So this is where I actually tell you that like this wasn't a fake story because usually well it was confirmed by the media that it was a true story from Russia, but good old Russia. But at the same time, when it comes to the creepypasta, so you see this picture. This is an actual picture. To actually, well, I do content creation, so and I did like photography during my life. So basically, like to fucking like do a picture like this, it will take so much effort that it's actually like it will take like cost you $3,000 to fucking take a picture like this because you either need to fucking dress up like this in a set like this, right? Or all digital, which either way, like for a fucking creepy pasta, and now you can compare it to this picture, right? You see, like it's small, but like you can see, like this takes 5 minutes. A kid can fucking do that, right? But this is nuts. This is actually a real picture, and this is like you can see like the malnutrition. You can see the skin, but like what's interesting as well is that like they fucking bite it. So basically, some stimulants that can fucking lead you to fucking do like crazy stuff, bro. Like if you don't feel pain, my bro, like you can actually like fucking tear out your own arm, bro, and not care about it if you don't feel the pain. What will stop you, right? But like their choices were actually like this is actually the interesting part where it's like really illogical, right? But look at the dude, and at the same time, he's smiling, right? He's really smiling, laughing. So now that you know why it's a real picture, isn't that curious? Like, he's actually fucking smiling. Because, like, technically, tell yourself that, like, you get high on weed or stuff like that, right? Do that for a long period of time, right? Basically, you'll have like your face expression that will be taken off. This picture was taken like randomly during the experimentation, right? The dude was fucked up, locked up in a fucking awful smile. And this is actually fucking like just like grim and fucking just fucking like fascinating because the dude died. You can see his skin. He has nothing. Basically, Auschwitz victims. Well, you can compare it to an Auschwitz victim. You know, like let me just check. Let me just get a link. Like want to take something. Yeah, right. Okay. Let's take this one, right? So check this picture. So take the time to take the to check this picture out, and remember, so this comes from human experimentation. Okay, so this is not a gulag. You heard the story, right? Check how close it is to a fucking Auschwitz victim. Like, do you see like the fucking like arm that is the same where there's no muscle left, and like the fucking like ribs, but it's even like more awful because you don't fucking know what the fuck he did to himself. Anyway,
He just flatlined. It looked as if he was repeatedly suffering brain death before returning to normal again. As they focused on the paper scrolling out of the brainwave monitor, only one nurse saw his eyes slip shut at the same moment his head hit the pillow. His brainwaves immediately changed to that of deep sleep, then flatlined for the last time as his heart simultaneously stopped. The only remaining subject that could speak started screaming to be sealed in now. His brainwaves showed the same flatline.
what the fuck? So basically, the dude there. So, four people dead so far. The last dude looks at the fucking scientist and the army, bro, and he just fucking he fucking tell them, hey friend, like put me back, bro, put me back, friend. Like, isn't that fucking insane? Like, this is
As
fascinating.
the other one who had just died. The commander gave the order to seal the chamber with both subjects inside, as well as 3 other
Both
researchers.
suggest.
One of the 3 immediately drew his gun and shot the commander point blank right between the eyes, then turned the gun to the mute subject and blew his brains out. He pointed the gun at the remaining subject, still restrained to a bed, as the members of the medical and research team fled the room. I won't be locked in here with these things. Not with you, he screamed, at what could no longer be called a man strapped to the table. What are you, he demanded. I must know. I must know. What are you? The subject smiled.
Have you forgotten so easily?
The subject asked.
We are you. We are the madness that lurks within you all, begging to be freed at every moment in your deepest animal mind. We are what you hide from your beds every night. We are what you sedate into silence when you go to the nocturnal heaven where we cannot tread.
The researcher paused, then aimed at the subject's exposed heart and fired. The EEG flatlined as the subject weakly choked out.
Damn.
So nearly free.
Yeah. So I pretty much like did all the command. Uh, uh, Let me just.
Doubt.
So nearly free.
I just need to do one thing real quick. Okay. Yeah, so I really like the story. This is my favorite creepypasta. I used to listen to that like to fall asleep actually, like not the with the images, because the images they kind of freak me the fuck out. I will just like listen to audiobooks of like Cicada, Tweety, why not? Like all of this. I will listen to that and basically fall asleep. You don't ask me why. I'm just, bro, like if you saw the fucking oh, by the way, the fucking test. Um, so no, it wasn't like a girl that was like my ex that he was like dating, but it's really close. Yeah, I was left it wasn't this heavy. Like when my ex would leave for the for the week. But I was a good boy as well. So could have been worse. Anyway, let's keep going with so another creepy pasta, another actually like let's watch some fucking corpse husband. Let's be fancy about it. Like let's do like a fucking like fucking spooky night. Like let me just okay, so let's get to that. Like Corpse Husband, bro. Do you remember when we didn't knew about Corpse Husband and he was doing these videos? I actually never watched it. I actually never. Maybe I watched it. Maybe I actually watched it. But can you believe that like now the strap and like he's the cool dude and like I just go back in time and just like watch this stuff because like I should listen to this song. It's bro, listen to Corpse Husband. Corpse Husband. Really legit. This dude is a fucking artist. Anyway,
Before the video begins, I'd like to give everyone a warning.
bro, his voice is not as like fucking dark as it is now. Like, bro, like this is baby corpse husband. This is like child corpse husband. Listen to this. You can if you listen to like corpse husband is not like the like fucking like what's it called, like the most popular, like it's not trending anymore, like is doing his stuff, right? But like if you listened to when it was like going viral, like he has like a fucking deeper voice now compared to that. Listen to that. This is like younger, this is teenager cop's husband. Let's listen to that.
Before the video begins, I'd like to give everyone a warning.
Do you
The
hear it?
experiences told in this video are extremely disturbing and violent. Viewer discretion is
It sound like a fucking was a creepy pasta. I think about my accent. It's like, yeah, extremely disturbing and violent. Yeah, no, my ex is not shooting me well, but like, it's like, bro, like, she was a dragon girl. She was like a monster girl. Like, she's the type of girl who tell you who you are, what you do, and how you do it, and how to live. And you're like, uh, and you're happy about it because out of my league, by a million. Like, she was a million leagues away from me. Like, I don't know how I catch this Pokemon, but like, like, boy, there's a price to get the dragon girl, the monster girl. Basically, like, every creepypasta is kind of about her.
advised. I'd also like to state that, like previously mentioned in the video before this, these aren't going to be told in regular storytelling format, more like a friend telling a friend. There are some long experiences and some shorter ones. Either way, I hope you can enjoy the video. Now that that's out of the way, let's begin. We responded to an apartment building when the caretaker had called us. His initial report was that he went to go check on a room because water had been reported flooding into
Me in the morning, I'm like trying to fucking prepare myself to fucking like like live like this. Yeah, pretty much like, bro, like, didn't you already have paparazzis? Like, what the
to the
fuck?
hallway. He informed us that there was a deceased lady in the tub. He said he had saw her and immediately backed out without touching anything. We entered the room and it was filled with steam. The humidity had started peeling the paint off the walls in sheets. There was also the smell of cooked meat. Upon entering the bathroom, we found the supposed deceased seated in the
Yeah, supposed to see is like my like friends and families that fucking call me like that often. Like, like having my picture as well. What the fuck?
tub with the hot water running. From the looks of it, she had been there a while. The skin on her body, all the way from toes to sternum, had started separating. Much like the paint on the walls, it was bubbled and coming up in sheets. I checked for vitals while someone turned off the water and the others went to go get a bag and radio for a can. I almost shit my pants when I found signs of life. The lady had a pulse. She wasn't really responsive.
Yeah, pretty much like the reaction of my family once they fucking take me out of my come pick me up from a ditch. Like the dude is describing my life like hey corpse husband, we're not like that close. What the fuck? Like don't fucking homie me, you know?
But she was breathing shallow, had a heartbeat, and was looking at us. We had to get her out. We radioed for EMS and informed them that we had a live patient with at least 80% burns. They were a few minutes out, so we started to get the patient ready for transport. I don't remember what we were doing when we noticed the water drain.
How do you know me so much? First time we're watching like the scary video, you just fucking talk about my ex, and fucking now you talk about me. Like, maybe it's just a coincidence, but like on this one, like like really scary one, yeah.
Draining from the tub. But what we saw was her torso essentially degloving itself as the water receded.
Okay, if you want to never search degloving. Degloving means that like your skin, so you see the skin here? So you cut the skin like this. It can happen with like some like basically like industrial equipment, and basically it doesn't it doesn't cut the fucking organ. It skins it, but skins it like a glove. That's what degloving. I didn't watch it. I will not watch it, but do not watch it. Or watch it if you actually want to fucking like end sleep for if you have like exams and like you don't want to sleep for like the next 6 fucking days.
We immediately plugged the bathtub and continued working on her.
And degloving can happen like pretty much about everything, but usually it's the end. Like it can happen to like other organs. Basically like the skin is elastic, so basically like think about the skin as you know, like the fucking like a plastic gloves. Well, the skin is basically the same, but really, really, really more resistant. But if you fucking manage to fucking do it, uh, well, even if it happens to you, don't watch it. Like, don't call for help. It heals by itself. Like the gloving heals by itself. But don't worry too much about it.
When EMS arrived, we had to transfer her to the stretcher. That's where things got ugly. We planned on gently lifting her out of the tub and placing her on the stretcher. However, as soon as we touched her, her skin was coming off in sheets. I remember saying, "Sorry, ma'am, but we have to do this," as I picked up my section and came away with almost all of the skin I contacted stuck to my arms. That was the only time she made a sound. She probably couldn't feel it due to the nerve damage, but I'm pretty sure she knew she had lost almost all of her skin from the chest down. The water was extremely hot, so we were also getting burned while doing this. We managed to get her onto the stretcher and EMS took her away. When the bathtub was drained, there was a sheet of skin stuck to the bottom. We had to scrape it off and bag it. I still can't eat certain chicken dishes because of this.
Bro, the dude is the dude is like I cannot not eat meat. No, but it stops me from eating chicken. Like like it's kind of like I will think that like in like a disgusting experience like this will stop you either from like eating meat in general or not. Not from like, hey bro, like at McDonald's, I don't fucking the Mac chicken, I don't eat it anymore. Like, like that's a weird trauma response.
We figured she was in the tub and the water got cool, so she turned it on with her toe. She must have had a stroke and could not turn it off again. Being an apartment, it had pretty much unlimited hot water, so
I'm obsessed about this dude, but like, so basically, the paramedic looks at his friends like last case, so they go to McDonald's because paramedics says fucking like go to McDonald's like everyone else, right? And the dude is like, yeah, No more Mac chicken for me because of the last fucking person that I fucking helped. It was so disgusting that like, but I'll take a Big Mac though. But no more Mac chicken. Like, what the fuck?
So that poor lady sat there for approximately 3 days cooking. She didn't survive. We don't get a lot of follow-up on calls, but I heard she passed away. Between a stroke and severe burns, it wasn't likely she'd make it, but we treat every patient like they have a chance. The human body is a weird and wonderful thing. Sometimes people do make it through some pretty terrible things.
So basically, she survived, or like severe burns, neck, but she passed away between the stroke. Okay, so she passed away, and conclusion of the adventure of the EMT. No more fucking Mexican. That's such a fucking weird reaction.
Thing. Sometimes people do make it through some pretty terrible things.
I'm obsessed about the fucking this fucking commentary, like because like some EMT, so EMT is urgent, like basically like medics, like nurses and stuff. They tell you like at the command of call, like I take like painkillers. And some motherfuckers like I don't eat my chickens anymore. Like it's such a fucking funny, dude.
I had one call where a nice enough lady was going from psych ward to psych ward at hospitals about 2 miles apart. She was nice enough in what broken Spanish I could use to talk with her. She kept holding her stomach and saying muerta and mucho dolor, which is death.
Okay, so Muerta is for La Santa Muerte. It's a divinity of death, a goddess of death, that comes from Mexico City, and basically like, so basically like she was like saying Muerta. People in Mexico, it's not Mexico, it's Mexico. If you're in the respect grind, but basically, in Mexico, people believe in La Santa Muerte as much as they believe in the fucking Christ. It is like part of like the evangel of the Latino people from Mexico, not as much as like Spain or like stuff. So her whispering Muerta is basically someone whispering Grand Reaper or Satan, you know? Like, but she's a goddess of death that is basically nice and hot, apparently. Like, don't ask me, like, when I was checking, like, only basically she's young and like she's called a beautiful lady or something. But basically, like, she is part of like like Christianity within like Mexico. So just to kind of put you in perspective of this is actually fucked up because it's basically someone in a fucking psychiatric hospital that fucking goes Satan, Satan, Satan. Yeah, La Santa Muerte. Yeah, Santissima is yeah, so she's scary as fuck. Like, but a beautiful belief though. Like, it's a belief of peace, you know. Like, it's not like, but she still looks fucking scary. Like,
Or some conjugation of, and much pain, which wasn't too creepy until I started reading her paperwork. The gist of it was that she was having hallucinations of essentially a Grim Reaper following her and disemboweling her. She had also had some surgery for an abdominal injury that was literally documented as a mild evisceration that did not appear to be self-inflicted, and she was adamant that this Reaper figure did it to her.
oh damn, that's actually well, you know, like, so within the medical, this actually shows that this is a true story. You know why? I'll tell you why. The expert about like medicine, I'm not an expert, but like I'm studied medicine. And basically the word evisceration is a medical term. It is not a common term. people do not use the term evisceration. Did you ever heard the term eviscerate someone? It's a medical term. So I don't know if like the story is legit, but I know that like it was written, or at least it was written with care of the idea of a medical report, because eviscerated, this is a medical term. Like not like people will, if it like within like the medical field they say eviscerated, not stabbed. You get me? So yeah, maybe it's true. Yeah, that the Reaper fucking like Santa Muerte, or the Reaper fucking eviscerated some random lady in a fucking psychiatric now. Well, at least it were at least she didn't fucking cross the path of my ex when she was like fucking angry. Like could have been worse, you know.
This is the most gore I have seen from a call, and it made me think a little about the irony of it. I responded to a call where a janitor was dusting or cleaning a quite large stone cross in the middle of a church. He had been up on a ladder cleaning when he slipped off the ladder and proceeded to try to hang onto the cross to keep him from falling. Unfortunately, the weight of the around 200-pound man was too much to support. The cross fell towards him, landing on his left arm, with a part of the horizontal stone of the cross pushing his muscles and tendons out of his wrist like a squeezed toothpaste tube. Then the cross fell completely on him, splattering his brain across the floor. Quite disturbing, and definitely the most horrific and gore-filled call I had ever witnessed. On a Halloween about 4 years ago, I was working a shift with a good buddy of mine.
I was actually thinking about like how much I was missing Max. I actually didn't listen to the story. What the fuck? So yeah, fuck it. I won't listen to it again. No, I was actually thinking about like all the fucking like things that I have to do. Let's focus.
And we got a run for an unknown medical. We were a couple of cocky mid-20-somethings. On the way up the elevator, we got caught up in an argument over A's versus Giants Bay Area baseball. We almost blew off the security guard.
Typical, like the A's, man. Like, giant A's, giant A's, giant A's, giant, bro. Who goes for the A's? Actually, I have no knowledge in baseball whatsoever.
When he was opening the door to some random apartment. "Oh, she's definitely dead," the guard said, and we were instantly like, what? Usually the cops get to this sort of thing before us. Plus, we had no idea a dead body was involved. Yet, there she was, reclined in a lazy boy with her feet up all the way in a position of comfort. Her eyes were rolled back and mouth agape, just like in the movies. Over her head was a translucent plastic bag taped neatly around her neck. I don't know if it was the combination of reclined death in a lazy boy, a nonchalant plastic bag, a possible murder, or the fact that it was Halloween, but that was a creepy scene. I think we actually had a shooting and a stabbing on that shift as well. Shooting and a was a creepy scene. I think we Halloween, but that was a shift as well. In general, the creepiest calls for me are hangings. Something about a body just hanging listlessly in the dark. The last one I had we were dispatched to without lights and sirens, which itself was weird.
There's something about like suicides that people tend to forget because like Hollywood and everything is just the stillness and just how calm it is. Like, and this is where it's really eerie, like eerie and just creepy and just kind of like really dark, because you imagine always like the fucking fucking cop show, whatever the fuck, where there's like this rhythm and like cops. Usually it's pure silence when they find a corpse, like complete silence, like basically complete silence. Like when you see this, you see the remains of a victim. And this is like why also like well, why you should salute the people fucking doing this work, but also like why a lot of like there's like this, it's not this misinformation about death, but it's kind of like this unknown little facts, about like just the circumstances in which people are found. It makes like these work like kind of like different from what you would imagine. It's just like there is no fucking like music, there is no fucking happy discussion. There's like bro, like there are like some people that are grim, but usually it's more in the medical side. Like the people that are grim are usually in the fucking in the fucking like doctors have a dark humor. Like I talked to like basically to medical studies, so believe me or not, like people are dark in this field, but as well as like doctors in general, like people in this fucking field, like basically we face death. I didn't, because fuck that. But like but gotta say, like when he talks about it, maybe I'm like over like commenting it just because like it was like my field of study. But it's just that like you need to put yourself in perspective that like each of these stories, like at least when it comes to like discovering corpses, right? It's in silence. Usually also in the dark. You have to fucking turn on the lights, or but like it's always like really fucking like dark and really like fucking sad, which is why like when it's sad but it's also fucking scary. That's why like well, you understand why I said people in this type of like line of works end up like with fucking like as alcoholics or stuff like that. It's like it doesn't need to be a fucking creepypasta to be fucking like scary.
We ended up at a Safeway with a
Or
bunch of
creepy.
cops who had no idea where the hanging was. Apparently, the guy who called it in was casually shopping in the produce section. This guy mentions to us that the body was at a construction site across the street. Needless to say, we told the guy to show us where now. Sure enough, there was a well-executed hanging about 5 feet off the ground. There was rope rigged over a facade and tied to cement blocks on the other side of a chain link fence. Seeing a dead body hanging in the dead of night is one of those things that stays with you. You keep it in your back pocket so you can tell the story later when someone asks about the job.
Yeah, like not too. I mean, this is basically like the like typical story. Like, bro, like no matter where the fuck you find a body hanging, like, like it's always kind of like really creepy. Like, I don't know.
Police officer here. If a paramedic ever goes on a creepy call, we usually show up too. Worst I ever saw was a suicide via slit wrists. This woman was clearly struggling mentally. She went into her basement and
Okay, so I'll tell you the fucking explanation why. Do you know how much blood you have in your body? Okay, so did you ever spill some? I don't have a fucking bottle right now, but like, have you ever spilt a can, full can of liquid? You already spilled like a bottle of water on the ground. Well, if you slit your wrist, or like if you have like an open wound injury, it's at least the amount of blood that is released, so that goes into the room, is at least a fucking bottle. But you have to consider take the picture. That like basically the consistency is not like your fucking soda. It's basically soup. I mean, it's soup really quickly, basically. Imagine like when you go to a fucking like to someone that actually like open wound, like victims of like shootings or suicide. Basically, like you have to take into account that like these people like to discover a bottle of blood soup, basically all around the body, and it stinks. Also, blood does not smell well. Blood smells well only when fresh. So basically, like it doesn't smell like too much, right? When it is fresh, it rots really, really fast, and it becomes like really, really disgusting, really, really fast.
and started sawing at her wrists horizontally with
That's why this picture. I'm not even sure. It's probably not a picture from the story, but I'm pretty sure that this is a real picture of suicide through like opening like an arteria, so basically veins, like because basically people didn't Photoshop like picture like this. It's an old picture. Like it will cost you like $200 to fucking Photoshop this on digital. And do you have like do you have think about like the logic of to kind of like put you in perspective. Do you think like anyone has the time to fucking ruin a room just for like a fucking picture, for like a random story on the internet? Like not a lot of people. So this is the actually the fucking creepiest part so far is that this picture is actually probably from a real crime scene.
a rusty hacksaw. She bleeds a good amount and then she starts walking around the house. She wasn't dying quick enough, so she sat down in a chair in the middle of the living room and started going at her wrists again, this time with a pair of scissors. I was the second person inside the house. It looked like a massacre. We searched the house, top to bottom, fully.
Yeah, because like the victim itself is like it is difficult to watch and discover, but the amount of blood is absolutely unbelievably terrifying. Like it's just like unbelievably like well, I won't say creepy, but just like macabre.
Expecting to find multiple dead bodies in there. I've never seen so much blood in my life. Every single room had a trail of blood in it. The woman was found on a chair in the living room. Rigor mortis had contorted her body in a really strange, unnatural pose, and her face was haunting. Literally the stuff of nightmares. Her wrists had huge chunks of skin, veins, muscle missing from them. Saying she slit her wrists is inaccurate. She ripped them to pieces.
Yeah.
I had a call at around 9 just after I came on duty of an elderly male with a possibly high fever. Not a whole lot of info, as the caller was his elderly wife, who, according to the dispatcher, was, quote, hard to understand. Anyway, we head out and get there 7 minutes or so later. As we go in, the wife is sitting at the kitchen table just inside the door, so we ask her what's going on. She answers that he, quote, has been complaining he is too hot all morning. We go into the next room, which is dark due to the curtains covering the windows, but there is enough light to see a dead man sitting in a chair. Now, mind you, he was not recently dead. I'm talking blackened face, rot, maybe rat bites around the mouth. Wasn't complaining this morning type of dead. I set down my equipment and my partner goes to turn on the light next to his chair so we can verify the obvious. As she goes to reach for the light, the dead man groans and reaches for her hand. After collectively shitting our pants, we jump into action. Come to find out, he was on oxygen and a smoker. He was complaining about being hot because he was literally burning up. What looked like signs of death on his face was scorch marks and melted plastic. And
Yeah, because so basically oxygen is not flammable. High concentrated oxygen is highly flammable. And so basically the dude lighted up a cigarette, and bad luck for you, my dude. This is, I hope you enjoy the cigarette, because like on oxygen you don't get to smoke, or else you explode. Basically you don't explode, but like you burn really really well. Like,
to answer the obvious question, I don't know. He was still alive when we got him to the hospital, and I never asked what happened to him after that.
oh, he actually survived. Goddamn them.
I have been on some creepy and depressing calls. One particular call that I remember was getting dispatched to a 96-year-old female with rectal bleeding. It was almost 6 a.m., and when we entered the residence, the woman was yelling, "He raped me," over and over again. Finally, the story came out that she had gone outside to get her paper, and some guy had emerged and followed her inside, raped her anally, stole all her medications, and then fled. I can't give away too many details, but I certainly believed what she was saying. We were trying to convince her to go to the ER, and she was adamant that she would not go. We kept pressing her, and then she said, "My son's funeral is in 4 hours. I can't miss it." That moment really hit me hard. I never followed up with it.
Wait,
It
so the
really hit. Funeral
wait,
is in 4. We
wait.
convinced her to go to the. I certainly believed. I can't give away too many details, but I certainly believed what she was saying.
So basically, they never found the guy.
We were trying to convince her to go to the ER, and she was adamant that she would not go. We kept pressing her, and then she said, "My son's funeral is in 4 hours. I can't miss it." That moment really hit me hard. I never followed up with it.
Oh my fucking god! Talk about the fucking nightmare.
I've had a ton of cases that some would consider creepy, like
Ozzy Osbourne, is that you?
ones with schizophrenic patients laughing and talking to people who aren't there. Watching someone experience full-blown visual and auditory hallucinations can be pretty creepy. We did have one call where we picked up a patient who claimed they were being tracked by.
So yeah, like it is the same when you go to at concerts. Like some people at concerts, they fucking like look out there. It's actually really scary at times. I gotta say, creepy, creepy as well. But it's more like, at least like at concerts or stuff. Like you're more scared for them, like, and that like something happens to them. But like I personally like never fucking saw something like that, like something of fucking horrible, but like you
By the
know.
US government. Of course, nursing staff and everyone involved assumed that it was just some kind of delusion run of the mill psych patient case. He spent time talking about documents that he previously had access to, and how the government didn't want him to release the information to anyone. He yelled and screamed as we put him on the cot about being sane and that we were being brainwashed. As we loaded our patient into the rig, he says we'll be followed to the next facility. Jokingly, my partner asks what was going to follow us, which he replied with a black Lincoln town car. As we leave, almost immediately there was a black town car behind us, which stayed behind us for
So he actually said the truth. What the fuck?
roughly 15 minutes transport, and only disappeared as we got within a few blocks of the new facility. We dropped the patient off, and all he had was a smug "I told you so" look on his face.
Yeah, like studying like as like study like human behavior, like psychology, psychiatry. Yeah, these are like some cases are really like fascinating, but also like really It's like supernatural to a point of supernatural when it comes to certain things. And it's like it really depends. Like I really don't know what the fuck is going on. Why the fuck they put Ozzy Osbourne there? But like, yeah, this is. Well, thank you so much, Corpse Husband. I actually will subscribe. Subscribe to Corpse Husband if you don't know if you don't know him. Like, this is a small YouTuber who tries to make his play on YouTube. So you should definitely like check him out. Like he has like a small following, you know, like he has a small following. His videos like are taking traction because like it's really like good quality. And and listen to his songs though. Like if you didn't like if you missed the fucking like the fucking trend of Corpse Husband, he was like mega famous like for a short while, and he released music, and his music is actually fucking good. So you should check it out if you get the time. Anyway. Next song we have alt. Okay, so something more light. Actually, something heavier. We are going back to the world of video games, where people tell you to kill yourself because you didn't press buttons fast enough. So, yeah, fun time is over. Sorry to tell you that, like, we are actually going back to hell. So yeah, let's check out. So Video Game Donkey is a legend. Check him out if you can. Like this dude is a fucking mega legend. He released a game. I think maybe I'll actually check it out. I didn't got the time because I had problems. And basically like just like check out his stuff. Like this dude is golden. Like this dude is a legend. Just check him out. So to be a good game reviewer, I actually never saw this video.
Welcome to IGN, kid. So you're a new reviewer, huh? I'll be your handler, Walter White. I'm gonna show you how to do a good game review. Polly, bring up that one stupid-ass one.
Immortals of Avium is an impressively confident first-person shooter.
They need to keep this guy on the reviews. 8 out of 10. Good thinking. He's an old pro. Now, Polly, bring up one of our bad reviews that we like to do.
Monotonous micromanagement, a poor interface, and by-the-numbers combat.
This game scored a 75 out of 100 rating for PS5 on Metacritic from the critics. Seems pretty decent, unlike this review. 4 out of.
So I'll give you the secrets of like video gaming and like game reviewing and whatever the fuck. Make your own idea of the game, and if you like it, you like it, and if you don't, you don't. And it's fine if you like a game that is disliked, or it's fine. It's also fine if you like a game that is like look at me. My fucking favorite game ever is World of Warcraft. So yeah, to each their own, you know. like don't fucking like get too fucking like too fucking stressed out because of a fucking review. Sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes they're wrong, but just about it, kind of. Because like is they right about like the game being bad or something, but maybe it's bad to them, but the perfect game for you. So the best advice I can give you as someone who spent way too little hours playing video games is try by yourself. Usually you can get like a fucking demo or something. Same demo that it's like we're like in 2005. Who the fuck I am, bro?
10. Fucking amateur. I remember this kid. He was nice. Quit the next day. Polly, get this shit show off the screen. Put on our Baldur's Gate review.
Baldur's Gate 3 is just about everything I could have asked for.
Oh boy, IGN really made a comeback. 10 out of 10. Good thinking.
The shallow number of samey maps can get monotonous pretty quickly.
This game looks like shit.
It makes you feel like you are the character. You know.
No way this dude has played other horror asymmetricals or even understands the genre.
If you've played any asymmetrical horror game, be that Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th, Evil Dead, or Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed.
Travis Northup needs to apologize for his reviews big time.
Dave the Diver never stopped surprising me. Easily one of the best games I've played this year so far.
Great review. Might pick it up. Thanks, IGN.
Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life doesn't offend, but it sure doesn't impress either.
It's supposed to feel dated. Love this game.
Final Fantasy 16 really impressed me.
Great review. Fair points were made.
Diablo 4 is completely awesome to behold.
Agreed for once.
Not Diablo 4. Lilith. Lilith is awesome. I don't even know the plot about Diablo 4. Like, I just know, like, there's Lilith in it.
9 is an accurate rating. Great game for sure.
Octopath Traveler 2 is another good old-fashioned 80-hour JRPG.
7 is a piss-poor score for this. It deserves an 8, at minimum. This guy was all over the place with his review.
Honkai Star Rail is the best free-to-play game of the year so far.
Amazing review. Amazing game.
This is a sadly lackluster follow-up to Modern Warfare 2019's refined take on a Call of Duty campaign.
6 out of 10. IGN died long ago.
You feel like Spider-Man?
Jesus, give this
There you go.
razor.
If you know, you know.
And keep adding more people passionate like him for video game reviews.
But if you haven't already played it on Wii, the deluxe version is the ideal way to see what a traditional Kirby game is all about.
Another IGN reviewer that doesn't understand the Kirby series.
This is Ragnar, and he is my large adult demon son.
Wow, that was actually an amazing review. I'll take my hat off and admit it.
Sometimes nostalgia makes things from the past seem better than they actually are.
I've learned over the years not to trust IGN. If you want a real review, go over to GameSpot.
The way he leaps off of rooftops and flips backwards to face the camera before falling into a headfirst dive is just full of the exaggerated swagger of a black teen. It gives me goosebumps every time he does it.
It's Metroid. I love those games.
That was the best IGN review I've seen in a decade.
But he's hoping that Sega can show some better judgment in the series' future.
Here's a hint, IGN. It helps when you get a reviewer that actually wants to play the game they're reviewing. Like me.
Cyberpunk 2077's impressively flexible design makes it a truly remarkable RPG.
Great review. I'm sure the patches will fix everything. Best to wait a few weeks to play.
Shenmue 3, in all its oddity, exists.
You're criticizing the game.
Bro, this was actually a sick burn. Like, the dude didn't went halfway to fucking, like, insult this game. Shenmue is actually kind of nice. Okay, don't beat that into Shenmue.
This is not a proper review.
While there are some mischaracterization opportunities, Age of Calamity remains a blast from start to finish.
IGN finally gives a fair and great review. Super hyped to pick this game up tomorrow.
But while it may not be the most stylish or polished, its rugged and brutal look at the muddy business of Scandinavian expansion is as memorable and dense as an Assassin's Creed has ever been.
Thank you for making a non-biased review. Best review I have seen. Many others are obviously haters of Ubisoft.
But there aren't enough interesting weapons to keep the battles from getting dull.
This guy has obviously never played a serious Sam game in his life.
Pikmin 4 is an absolute failure of a Pikmin game, and an insult to the masterpieces that came before it.
Really enjoyed this
What do you mean there's like a 9 and he says this?
review. It was clear the reviewer had great in-depth knowledge and
Saints Row the third? More like this is the third time I've reviewed Saints Row 3.
Guys, ignore this review.
But the impressive graphical overhaul and welcome quality of life improvements make this the best version of Xenoblade Chronicles we've ever had.
This is actually such a terrible review. Did you even play the game's main story? You spoil one of the biggest plot points in this game to flex your endgame gear or whatever. You mispronounce names of major...
Bro, the people, well, for Xenoblade Chronicle, bro, you spoiling like some detail about an 80-hour game. Yeah, bro, like try. I'm pretty sure like I could go on like play Final Fantasy like 7 and go on a fucking full like explain you the story in this entirety without ever spoiling, because like it's an 80-hour game and you wouldn't fucking understand what the fuck is going on because it's a fucking like JRPG. Like maybe it's not understandable what I'm trying to say, but like I understood myself, so it's not.
Characters that you
Mind-bogglingly cool, and an absolutely unparalleled way to virtually explore our world.
This review was phenomenal. We need more reviews like.
Do you know like a better like way to explore a world? Like going outside. I need to do that. Like, way too. I was trying to make a joke here. Just put a thank you if you put a dislike and say that like I should quit doing content creation. You actually are doing God's work. Thank you so much.
Like this, IGN. Give this man a raise.
But those few bright spots aren't enough to bring Battle for Bikini Bottom's passable but simplistic gameplay up to the standard of a 2020 platformer.
This is why gamers should review games, not journalists.
Kingdom Hearts 3's Remind DLC is oddly jumbled.
Trash! Fire this guy! This is literally the worst review I've ever seen. They should have got a fan of the series to review this.
That said, I'm impressed by how much Square Enix has stuck the landing for one of my favorite long-running series. And that's why it's so exciting to see that Kingdom Hearts 3 is as full of heart as it ever has been.
Great job, Jonathan. Honestly, I don't know who else could have done this review besides you.
Yeah. The conclusion is, bro, like if like for you the conclusion is if the game is popping on Twitch or on YouTube and is everywhere, you should at least give it a try. For me the conclusion stays the same. If there is a best girl in it, might try it. If it's popping on YouTube and if it's popping on social media, might try it. Like I have 2 rules in life. But yeah, you should just give a try to fucking to at least like what you cannot miss. Like basically the game, like I'll give you the secret of the gamer that like actually fucking like plays the good games each time. The games that you cannot miss, like as someone that like lurks on YouTube and Twitch, are usually worth playing. So yeah, you heard it here first. So leave a dislike and unsub and tell the people that like sub to me to fucking unsub as well. Thank you so much. Let me react to another video. I need to react to so much. Like basically I'm trying to fucking like be a woke content creator, but do you know how difficult it is because it's so niche? Basically because of that, I watched a lot of YouTube video about WoW, but I'm watching like way more YouTube videos than I used to, like basically about WoW, like it's just basically because it's part of like content, like basically React duty. Like it's my niche, but like no, I'm pretty sure that it's just because like I streamed a lot this month. I actually like it, don't dislike it. Like just forget about it. Like anyway, so yeah, forget about it. Pretend I didn't complain about WoW because technically like I could be playing League of fucking Legends. And each time I think about like the fact that I'm playing World of Warcraft rather than League of Legends, I feel a little joy that like that things could be worse, you know. So the dungeon too evil for vanilla WoW. Let's check it out. Like actually, there are like lore-wise, there are like many dungeons that are like way really fucked up in Azeroth. So yeah, let's check it out.
From Azeroth's maps. It was erased. No crumbling towers, no grand tombs, just silent peaks where even the wind carries old lies. Was this Blizzard's plan? A story left untold? No. This is what happens when
I remember I was like mining mithril like in this place exactly for hours when I was a kid. Like this was the spot where you get mithril. You just like run around with your mount and you get like your mining going. It was so fucking fun.
When every ruler, every power decides a kingdom must vanish, but buried truths, they always claw their way back. The traitor's coin hidden in Dalaran's sewers, an ode to what this kingdom stood for. Alterac didn't just betray the alliance, they rewrote the rules of war. When the orcs poured in through their gates during the second fall, Alterac didn't just
So this is interesting because everyone knows your Alterac Valley, right? The epic battleground, the 40 versus 40 battlegrounds since vanilla, right? Like the story. So basically, this is the story of Alterac. What the fuck? I actually like didn't knew that. Like it was like I actually never thought about like the story of Alterac.
betray the Alliance. They rewrote the rules of war. When the orcs poured in through their gates during the Second War, it wasn't just cowardice, it was calculation. King Perinold knew the Horde would lose. He counted on it. Because even in the chaos of defeat, he could negotiate, trade one kingdom's survival for all of Lordaeron's secrets. Anduin Lothar's death at the hands of Orgrim Doomhammer? Again, Alterac spies ensured he walked into that ambush. Stormwind refugees slaughtered on the roads? Alterac scouts
It sounds like it says stuff that is like really dark. It sounds like he's smiling, like just like trying to fucking hide his joy. Like listen to this, he's probably just like passionate and like about the story, but like it sounds like he's smiling, like he's telling the story of a fucking genocide like this. Take this, just take a listen.
Again, Alterac spies ensured he walked into that ambush. Stormwind refugees slaughtered on the roads? Alterac scouts misdirected them into troll territory. But the real insult, after the war, when Tyrannus Menethil demanded justice, Perinold smiled as the noose tightened, because he had already won. The Syndicate still uses Perinold's personal cipher in their letters. Find it in South Shore quests from pre-Cata Hillsbrad. With a little digging in WoW tools and courtesy of a legacy WoW model viewer, some notable things that I did find. There was an alpha WoW map of Alterac Valley where the Syndicate capital was Alterac. It had like a palace and everything.
Oh.
There was cut NPC dialogue from Lord Davil Prester. The Lion of Stormwind owes us a kingdom, and we will collect it. There is one final thing, a little hidden texture, a blood-stained treaty in Stranbrad's Inn, signed by Alterac, Kotaras, and the Scarlet Crusade. I will get back to Stranbrad Inn because that is a hidden
the Scarlet Crusade was
location.
also implicated.
So a little bit more backstory here. The Syndicate were not just bandits; they were Alterac's nobility. Its spy masters.
Each time the fucking dude says Alterac, like the fucking auto translator fucking finds another word, Alterac.
Because when the Alliance burned their kingdom, they simply moved the money from the shadows of Stranbrad. They built a shadow empire, one that owned half of Lordaeron's debts. They funded both sides of the Third War. They planted agents in Stormwind's court. Yeah, even Onyxia answered to them once. And their grand plan? Not revenge, restoration. To reclaim Alterac, not through war, but through gold, through secrets, through knowing exactly where every noble buried their sins. Even Varian left them alone. For some are just truly untouchable. Now, the part we were all waiting for, the Cut Alterac dungeon. Thanks to a little help from WoW Model Viewer again, the Alterac dungeon, a gold hoard littered with child-sized skeletons, possibly Perinold's hostages, found beautifully displayed underneath Stranbrad Inn. In one vanilla WoW interview, a developer said it was too grim and they had to cut the torture ledgers. Anyway, in 2004, beneath Stranbrad Tavern, there was meant to be a dungeon, Alterac Vault. Not of gold, but of blackmail.
Check this out. Outer egg this time. Like the translator cannot fucking the AI cannot fucking translate Alterac, huh? Outer egg.
Scrolls proving Lordaeron knew of the betrayal weeks before it happened. lists of Stormwind nobles who took Alterac coin. And worst of all, the
After a coin.
children. Dozens of them vanished during the Second War, last seen in Alterac's palaces.
After Rex. Bro, each time it gets better.
Blizzard cut it all, but the code remains, even today. Syndicate NPCs in Kotaras and Stromgard still trade those secrets. Anduin knows, Turalyon knows, but the real question is, who is left to punish? The nobles are dust, the king is a corpse on a forgotten gallows, and there's all left is the gold and the ghosts. Now, the first cut quest, courtesy of WoW Tools, the quest ID 6881. Unfortunately, now it has been rewritten, and it is a different quest in vanilla. However, it stated, "Bring me the Crimson Docket and burn the rest." This was a pendant inside the Alterac vault.
Check this out. Alterac. Like, it's never the same fucking word that like the translator, the AI translates. Alterac.
The next quest, quest ID 6882, Trials of the Traitor. This attributed to the Oathbreaker Trial, a room where ghosts of Alliance players replayed their deaths, accusing players of being just like Alterac. But the vault was meant to be
It got it right. It got it right. Almost. Almost. And there's a C. But the same got it right.
If you free a prisoner, they'd join your party. Kill them, the next boss would recognize you and beg for mercy.
Oh, that's interesting.
2 voice lines during this event, again courtesy of WoW Tools. V0 Alterac, Lord Falathel.
Okay, you got it right
dare
again.
judge me, look in the mirror, hero. Vyo Alterac Valenforth, the Oathbreaker dies, the loyal join me. Valenforth.
Bro, even the dude got it wrong. I mean, even some dude in the video got it wrong. Like Alterac, like bro.
Alterac Valenforth.
Friend.
The Oathbreaker dies, the loyal join me. Now you might be thinking that dynamic dungeons are a little bit too high-tech for vanilla WoW. And you would actually be right. There was a second iteration where they were going to bring Alterac Vault into World of Warcraft, and it was through Cataclysm where they were going to bring Alterac Vault into
Elder Vault.
World of Warcraft, and it was through Cataclysm. There was a data mined dungeon entry where it stated, players who spare the prisoner will face Lord Faltharel as a friendly NPC, which suggests that they were fully implementing it into a random dungeon. Alterac Vault was erased twice. First,
well, it's back at Alterac.
in vanilla when Blizzard scrapped the Syndicate storyline, and then again in Cataclysm when its time-bending trials were deemed too controversial. Truly, in 2010, it was cut for being a moral dilemma. This was a rough exposure of horrific cases where the Alliance were not our ally. They were evil. Now, you may have heard stories about Alterac, the odd one, especially from Warcraft.
Yeah, by the way, like, Alliance, not the good guys. It's not because they're like, is it choose blue as their colors that, like, they're the good guys. Like, he knows it, but, like, it's just something, like, as someone, like, passionate about the game, yeah, they're not the good guys, and technically, the Horde, sometimes, like, yeah. Like, it's not because they wear blue that they're nice guys. And as a rule of life, if someone wears like friendly colors, doesn't mean that they're friendly. Okay? Like, this might save you.
1, 2, and 3. But Blizzard knew, and Blizzard hinted in the game in World of Warcraft The traitor's coin in Dalaran. If you flip it, it's double-headed. Both sides lose. Today, the Syndicate should be extinct, but walk through Stromgarde's cellars, see their banners hung where Danis men pretend not to look. Listen to Tyrellian's generals mutter about cleansing the mountains, and ask yourself, why does the Alliance still fear a dead kingdom? Because Alterac's real crime was not betrayal. It was proof. Proof that every king has a price. And now, with Tyrellian on the throne, the last Syndicate lords are running out of time and options. So next time you pass those empty mountains, listen close. Someone is still laughing, and they are not done yet. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any suggestions for another video, I would really appreciate them. Please subscribe if you do like this kind of content. I am trying to better the storytelling each time, and I really appreciate you guys' input. Thank you so much for making it this far, and have a lovely day.
This is actually what is fucking so person like bro, like this is like not the greatest video ever, but this is an interesting one. Like this is like a hidden lore about Alterac, and the dude, I don't know, like the dude has just like a beautiful vibe to himself. Thank you, Archie, and I hope you continue doing like YouTube videos, my bro. Like keep on going, keep on the grind, like. Anyway, the Eldorak like story. I didn't realize like it was like much darker than it was. Obviously, did you ever knew that like there was a story to fucking Eldorak Valley? Yeah, fucking did. Anyway. Let's keep on going. I have a last one. So let's go back to my favorite country ever on earth. Japan. Japan. Fucking love Japan. Always love Japan. I will. Everything's just like. I'm fucking like, where's the capacitor that was? Alright. Whatever. Okay, so living in Japan, culture shock. Like, abroad in Japan, this man is bro. You gotta follow him if you like Japan. Like, this man is a Bible of Japan. Like, and he's a bro, you know. Like, if you know, you know. Basically, the dude's name is bro. Basically, yeah, living in Japan, culture shock. I actually didn't watch this one, but like culture shock, yeah, culture shock if you actually stay in the country. Like many other countries, yeah, but like, so, like, I don't know. I guess like Japan is like make it chill and make it crazy at the same time in a way, but like it's just like way too different to many people. But I'm fascinated by this country. I fucking love this country so fucking much.
I think Japan might be one of those few countries in the world where you can sit and eat Ghana and drink sour cow piss, whilst simultaneously watching a man hypnotise a woman into having a seizure on national television in front of a very large man dressed
Like, bro, like, I would say
as a woman.
You must have it surprised me as well.
The UK has Cadbury's, America has Hershey's, and Japan, of course, has Ghana, which is the finest, cheapest chocolate you're going to get for under 100 yen. It's great. I don't know if it's actually got any connection with Ghana or if someone just thought, let's call it Ghana. But really great. And if you come to Japan, definitely buy this stuff. Definitely. And there's no better way to wash that Ghana down than with a nice can of cow piss, sour cow piss. I guess any drink that claims to be filtered through vodka and charcoal will, to some degree, taste like cow piss. So I've been in Japan about 2 months now, and I feel like I'm no longer on holiday.
Wait. When was this video? 12 years ago. Wait, this is only when he got here. When he got to Japan, because he still lives in Japan, obviously people like abroad in Japan, fucking did everything in Japan. Like, yeah, bro, this dude could be like he could get noticed by the fucking Emperor of Japan. But like, might even impress the fucking Emperor by almost like cultural activities, or many cultural activities he participated in Japan since he started living here. Like, this dude's a fucking legend. Well, like, I didn't know that like it was like so this is 2 months in, young abroad, Chris abroad, that's fucking like 1,000 Japanese. Now about to do this fucking like cycling and driving everywhere. Like, actually it's fascinating stuff.
I really do live in Japan, and that's quite weird for me, as it's the first time I've ever lived abroad. So one of the things I wanted to talk about was culture shock, as it's something that affects a lot of people who live abroad for the first time, and it's something that I've had now, particularly as I don't speak Japanese.
You can see that like he is much more like reserved and shy compared to like the new videos where the dude is like go fuck yourself. Like if you watch something, you watch something, and if you like Japan, you're missing something. Like the Japanese people like peeves and these people serious. He's entering Japan.
And it's quite a weird sensation. There are 3 stages to culture shock. The first is initial euphoria. This beer came with a free hand towel. How good is that? Oh look, there are Buddhas carved in the rocks. Oh my god, there's sushi. What are all these colourful things? Whoa, that is a mountain.
There's nothing to...
Oh, a vending machine. It's a vending machine. Oh, another vending machine. Just open my bank account. Only got a free towel with my bank account. You would not get that in the UK. Yeah, it's a water bill. Oh. The second is irritation and hostility. Literally, I'm running out of room for all these flipping towels.
You went from got like a towel of a beer canonized to I'm going insane because towels, what the fuck?
I just got my internet, but I've hit a bit of a snag. I can't read any of this. Where are the goddamn muffins? Hello, I'm having problems with my internet. Oh, Nihongo ga wakarimasen. I don't speak Japanese. For God's sake, why won't this mug just work? English? No? Oh, okay. Yeah, well I don't need the internet anyway. What are they on about?
I'm on the line.
The third stage is gradual adjustment, and I think that's the stage I'm in now.
Yeah, that's actually like where people usually fucking like abandon. Like the adjustment that you have to do to fucking actually live full-time in Japan is really a work of adaptation that like not a lot of people choose to do, but also like have the energy to do. You have to adapt to so many fucking things. So many. It's worth it. Yeah, well, depends. It's your favorite country. Like, it's your favorite country, it is. If it's not your favorite country and you have another favorite country, it's not. But you get like the best lesson of it.
There are days where I feel like I'm in a giant theme park, and there are days where I feel like there's a barrier between me and the Japanese people. So at the very least, culture shock is making me, is driving me to learn Japanese and pushing me. So in that respect, it's probably a good thing. There's a big theme of convenience in Japan, and you're never far away from two things: convenience stores and vending machines. Vending machines sit on pretty much every street corner. In the UK, having a vending machine on every other street just wouldn't work, simply because they'd get smashed up after about 45 minutes. Here in Japan, you can put one in the middle of nowhere, and because of the almost...
This is the stuff that I'm missing. Like, if you see my hours, like, I actually, like, I'm on night hole, and I'm basically, like, someone that actually, like, has a really, really cool schedule. Like, and bro, like, I will kill for, like, a vending machine. Like, you tell me, like, I will kill, I will kill for a vending machine, because right now I'm running slowly out of coke. I have to wait until, what time it is? It is 4 a.m. But, like, you know what I would like? Just, like, bringing my car to a fucking vending machine. There was, like, one left, and it doesn't work. So wouldn't get my cravings of my poison cans, like,
non-existent crime rates. It's not a problem. Small convenience stores line every other street, open 24 hours a day, 11 days a week, 365 days a year, and you can do some pretty cool things at the convenience store, from buying airline tickets to paying your water and electricity bills. Unless, like me, you can't read your bills, so you just put them in this special Japanese cupboard designed to put your bills in, because you're not going to pay for something you can't read, all the way up until you get deported. One of the most convenient tools in Japan is this. It's called a Hanko stamp, and basically it's your own personalised stamp which you use to...
The stamps are actually so fucking sick. I actually thought about buying one. Like, so basically, you do not sign with a signature. So in Japan, you do not sign what is it called? Your, like, legal papers with a signature, but with a stamp, personalized stamp. So a unique stamp. It's so fucking cool. It's kind of like it's kind of like outdated method, but it's a tradition there in Japan, and it's so fucking lovely. I love it so much.
Stamp the many hundreds of millions of documents you get on a daily basis, and I'd never heard of it before I came to Japan. And there are entire shops dedicated to crafting these personalised stamps and selling the...
And actually, I wanted to fucking buy one just randomly. It's just fucking hard to fucking find it in a site to buy one.
These cases,
it's like
and you can get some pretty pimped up stamps made of like gold or silver, depleted uranium little holders for your stamps. It's pretty cool, admittedly, and I like using it because I feel just like a lazy gangster. Because you do get so much paperwork in Japan as well, it's a lot easier than doing your signature over again and again. It's a lot of fun to use, and I just like stamping things.
It's so innocent. It became such a fucking danger, such a fucking monster since then. Like now, it's just like if you watch like the news, like not the news, but like the modern, like the present moment, fucking abroad in Japan. We really gained in confidence. You can see that if you actually already watch like many videos of like abroad in Japan, like you can see actually, you can notice how much he is shy and timid and just reserved. To now where he's just like to just a rock star.
For the fun of it, really. As I mentioned in my last video, my kitchen is quite small, and to some extent specially designed to make you eat out every other night, because in my mind it's too difficult to physically prepare dinner or food in such a small space. But to some degree, this kitchen is once again a good example of Japanese innovation and foresight, because by having such a small kitchen, I eat out every other night, and in the process walk to and from restaurants, keeping me fit. So to some degree, the kitchen is keeping me fit and healthy, although I did just get a car. But one of my favourite places is a chain of sushi restaurants called Kappa Sushi, and it's very popular with families and people that just like to stuff their face with raw fish and soy sauce and green tea. All for 1,000 yen, which is £8 or $12. When I first started going, I thought, like most things Japanese, it had a real air of convenience about it. After all, your food comes to you on a conveyor belt, or you order at a screen and it comes to you on this little train, which is amazing. It's honestly the future, but now in train form, and you wonder why all your food's just not brought to you on a train. It just makes sense. But what I found is it's not just the convenience of it all that's impressive, but how it's actually designed to make you eat more than you'd actually want in the first place. And maybe it's me just being greedy, but allow me to explain. You'll go in, sit down, pour your green tea, and then you'll go up to the screen and start ordering what food you want. While you're waiting for 5 minutes for the train to come past, you'll inevitably take some things off the conveyor belt just to get you started. And when you finally finish those, the train will probably pull up with all your food, and off you go again. When it's time for round 2, you turn your attention back to the screen, go through a few pages, and come across something called
That's Bonito concrete floor.
And this isn't just any Bonito concrete floor, this is the first Bonito concrete.
Yeah. High Legends will like the second Bonito concrete floor. It really doesn't fucking like match up with the first one. Like nothing to do with it. It was like kind of like a sequel to a sequel to a fucking like legend to a fucking like do something that never needed a follow-up.
Concrete floor. Assuming that there's more than one. Bonito being beautiful in Spanish, or at least I thought it was. And when you see something that says Bonito concrete floor, which is either a ridiculous mistranslation or just the world's greatest order at a sushi restaurant, you inevitably get it and sit there and wait. If you're someone like me who's impatient, you start taking more and more fish off the conveyor belt, so when the concrete floor finally does arrive, and disappointingly appears to be some sort of fish instead of a bag of concrete, you feel a bit disappointed. You know, when you order a concrete floor, at the very least you expect a concrete floor. So you start ordering more fish. And so the cycle continues. You order off the screen, while you're waiting, you eat more food off the conveyor belt, and when you're finished, the experience culminates with you walking out stuffed full of raw fish and with your monthly bank balance decimated. Well, that's the end of the video. I'll be putting up my next video in a few weeks. I actually spent most of the budget for this video on that shot of the windmills at the start, so here's that shot again.
Yeah, it's a video fucking video shot.
And yeah, any questions, ask away. See you later. There are 3 stages to culture shock. The first is initial euphoria. What the fuck is that? Shut up. There are 3 stages. There are 3 stages to Oh my god, that bird is gonna die. Like, not. There are 3 stages.
Bro, yeah, the bird he's making the bird, that's why it was so specific like stuff.
To culture shock. Oh, this is not happening. Come on, shut up. There are 3 stages to culture shock. The first is initial euphoria. Oh my god. That bird. What is it doing? Why is it so loud?
But the best thing about the 24-hour convenience stores is when you're peckish at 1 a.m, you can go and get some sort of roll, and I'm quite excited about this, fried potatoes with toothpick. I'm excited about this because I've never had the fried potatoes out of the hot cooker thing. They have a really good hot food section, and oh, there we go. Let's give it a shot. I think they might have been out a while. They're pretty bad. But generally, the food is awesome and highly recommend it. Get some hot food from 7-Eleven. Oh shit. Just dropped a chip in the cooker. I'll do some of that later. Yeah,
Okay, so this was abroad in Japan. I'm actually like so fucking love like so bad. So yeah, great video. Seeing abroad, seeing Chris actually so fucking young. Actually like brings me back to where. Like actually I was surprised. He did change. For the better, for worse. Became a rock star. You don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that was the stream for the day. Like, let me just check if my fucking microphone fucking died because would be ashamed to fucking reshoot it. It kinda did, but it's not dead yet. Fucking yeah, I didn't lose food. Let's go. But yeah, anyway, I'll see you later. As well, it be talking. See ya.